Greetings to you. This is Mary May from Butterfly Love and Relationship Flow. So I am just reaching out to you with a quick thought. I just jumped out of a couple session and I wanted to just kind of share as we build with relationships and sometimes where relationships and communications get locked and loaded is in empty arguments or in empty conversations. So one of the things that can was a couple things that can kind of help people resolve the conflict that they experience is looking at when you're in the crisis mode or at the point of having a disagreement between you and your partner. Now, I'm speaking from you and your partner, but this could really apply between you and a best girlfriend. This could apply between you and your children, you and actually at work, if you have challenges with regulating your mood or regulating how it is that you react and respond to different situations, this is something that you can be mindful of and that you can control in regards to having less of agitation and less frustration and being able to get yourself back on track. So when you have a disagreement with someone, it doesn't mean that what they're saying is totally inaccurate or what you're saying is totally inaccurate. It mainly means that you guys have not probably heard each other to one, hear if you're saying the same thing just in a different way, or if you're just completely missing the mark altogether. And so if you're missing the mark altogether, the thing to be mindful of is that if you're in crisis mode and you're entering into the alleged conversation that turns into an argument and you have this high level of energy and or passion or commitment to whatever your position is on whatever the thing is, like you coming in late, you working extra hours, didn't pay the bill on time, didn't pick up the kids from daycare. The argument could be about a whole bunch of stuff. But if you enter into the exchange with someone all fueled up, all in like full anger mode, then you're in crisis state. And so when you approach somebody in that aggression level, then it's like they have no other option but to meet you at the same crisis level energy that you've given to them. So if somebody comes yelling at you or they coming towards you, you brace yourself. You brace yourself and you begin to position yourself how it is that you can yell back. So then now you have crisis mode and crisis mode now going at each other and nobody is hearing what the other person is saying. So the way to kind of like be able to activate doing something different is to one, do a self-internalization check. Yes, I'm upset. Yes, I feel some type of way around this particular occurrence of a situation that has happened. But how can I present it to my partner, my child, my coworker, whomever the other person on the other side of this conversation is, where they can begin to get the sense of what it is that you really want to say? Because the minute that you're not hearing each other and it's that disconnect, it creates the crisis mode and it creates the shutdown. It may also create where you are yelling at each other. Then you decide, okay, I'm walking away. I'm not going to even share that you might put hands on each other because I don't want to encourage that. But you get to the point where you say, okay, I got to walk away, and you decide that you're not going to talk to this particular person who is significant in your life, no matter what the relationship is, until they get themselves together. Not that you get yourselves together, but they get themselves together, because it's all of them. But you entered into this situation in a crisis standpoint. So realizing that you came into the energy force of the connection between you and this other person to say, okay, I could have presented it a little bit differently. And what I could have done was state what the challenge was, or the way in which I needed help, or what the problem was that I wanted that person to help me solve together. And then to pause to hear what alternatives, what suggestions, what feedback that partner and that person offered back. And whereas I may not agree, or they may be asking more information so that they can make a solid decision, to not take them asking additional information as canceling out the validity of you being upset, or the validity of how we got here. So the thing to be very mindful of is, if you meet each other with crisis and crisis, and you begin to have the conflict where you are at high level and not hearing each other, nothing is going to be resolved. And depending on where people feel about voices being raised, being questioned, or challenged in regards to a certain thought process or a certain behavior or an action that they felt comfortable doing and they didn't realize that it was going to impact you in the way that it has, then it's going to create distance between not only how you guys interact with each other, but then also just how it is that you choose to move forward. And sometimes what people do is they move forward, they give you the space that they don't talk to you for a day or two, week or two, however it goes, and then they just kind of creep back in, and you guys start getting back into the same routine that you had prior to this crisis argument type situation. The challenge is that you never resolve what it was you needed to resolve, and you never look at what it was that I could have done differently to cause the reaction that my partner gave off, and vice versa. So the thing that would be suggested is that realize when you are in crisis mode, realize that when you may be elevating a situation, and do a self-check awareness to say, you know what, I need a minute. Let me reset my own perspective of the situation and maybe come back in a couple minutes. Or possibly maybe we could talk about this in maybe an hour or 2 hours. Or how about I need to go run out to the grocery store, go to the gym, take a swim, whatever. Create that space that you can recenter and reset the table and re-enter that conversation, hopefully with some peace, grace, and forgiveness, in a way that you can move from the crisis mode and be able to move into the peaceful mode, where your communication barriers of the dance that you constantly get into, and if you're constantly in the crisis mode, meeting crisis, then you don't know any other way to kind of interact and be not only with yourself, but with anybody else who challenges you or bring an alternative point of view to you, that you automatically do this default download of how it is that you're going to react and respond to a situation. So what I say is upgrade your system. Upgrade how it is that you react and how you respond to different situations, and begin to practice what's realistic, not only for you, but it'll be a world of difference between you and whomever it is that you're communicating with, when you say, okay, wait, I need to take a step back so that we can have a better communication around this concern. I realize that this may be touchy for you, and it's also touchy for me, but I want to get all of my thoughts out. So it's like taking responsibility for the part that you own, the part that you're responsible for, and not projecting that onto the other person. So be very, very mindful of how it is that you regulate, how you have intentionality around just how you communicate with your partner, and then how you cannot enter the space in crisis mode, and then get them elevated into crisis mode, and then now you're locked and loaded into this pattern. If you continually do that, the relationship will always be a stalemate, and it will impact always. So if it's you and your partner, your significant other, it will impact your finances, your communication, your diet, your hygiene and sleep, your hygiene and how your body rests and relax. And it will definitely impact your intimacy level and the fact of not being able to be open and responsive to receive as well as to offer up to your partner. So those are just some things that I just wanted to share with you as I'm jumping out of a session, and I just wanted to kind of share those nuggets about meeting a conversation from the crisis standpoint. And I'm hoping that the information that has been shared is not only helpful to you, but that you can see yourself implementing these strategies in your life and in your communication so that you can live well, be well, and begin to activate love, peace in your communications and having healthy connections. So if there's anything that I can definitely help you out with, feel free to reach out. And I look forward to talking with you soon. Take care.